Hi, my name is Diaz. I am a graduate student here at the U of M, and I play trumpet. I'm going to show you some techniques and history on the trumpet. So, yes, this is a B-flat trumpet. There's a couple of different types of trumpets. There's a C trumpet, there's the piccolo trumpet, there's a bigger, darker trumpet called the flugelhorn. So if I play a concert B-flat on this horn, the concert B-flat on this horn is actually a C. Now, if I play a concert B-flat on the C trumpet, it's the concert B-flat. So just a little bit of that, but mostly you'll think about writing in this. This is the most popular horn to use. Typically on a trumpet, you go down to the low F sharp range, and it's kind of the basement of the trumpet. So I'm going to start on a low C, go down to the F sharp, show you. So that's the F sharp. We tend to not write in the lower range for a trumpet because of the voice for trumpet and the brilliance of a trumpet. You want to have it in like the middle upper register. Kind of think of like very vocal kind of voice. You can write it in the lower register, but it gets kind of muddy sounding. So it depends what you're looking for. Now, for the highest part of the range right now, we usually write right above the staff for a high C. So I'm going to go from a G up to the C. That's usually the top of the range. I would say probably try not to write too much sustained stuff up there. I would say a G right on top of the staff or an A. So anything around here. That's usually the kind of money spot for writing in the upper register. Sure, so this is a good one. So when you're writing for trumpet, we like concert B flat and concert E flat are really like the nice money notes for key signatures. Concert C and concert A are the brighter notes. And if you want a more dark, lushy sound, concert D flat really works nice for us. Now, when you're writing for piano with strings, some of those keys are going to be a little more difficult. So usually concert C and concert A, the brighter keys for trumpet will really blend nice with the string and the piano sound. So that's something to think about. One of the cool things about the trumpet, why I play the trumpet, is the dynamics. And basically when I was a little kid, I wanted it because I can really play loud and blow my brother's eardrums out. So the cool thing is with the crescendos and decrescendos, you can take it. So you get really cool colors from that. And the other reason I like it is the use of mutes. As you see here, I have a plethora of mutes. So this is a plunger, looks like a plunger, toilet plunger. I haven't used it on a toilet, so don't worry. So you get a lot of different sounds. A lot of people use a plunger, especially in a jazz, commercial kind of settings. It gets this kind of like wop sound. There's lots of stuff you can do with this with the extended techniques, which I'll talk about in a little bit. The most common mute for trumpet writing is the straight mute. It gives a little more brassy kind of sound. Now, what I like is the cup mute. It gives a little more mellow sound, especially if you're going to consider writing for piano and cello. This might be something to use because it gives it a whole different kind of color change, and you can experiment with it. So a lot of the fast passages sound nice in it. Then you can do a lot of lyrical passages in it. So that is the cup mute. Now, last noise is one of my favorites for, I would say, jazz, but you can use this in classical. This is the Harmon mute. As you can see in the Harmon mute, it has two parts. It has the stem and the bass. A lot of people write Harmon mute just with the bass because it gets this nice really metallic-y sound. But if you kick the stem in it, it's almost like a baby version of the plunger, but the plunger really muted. So I'll show you a couple of things you can do here. You'll still get that wah-wah kind of attack. But then you take it out, it gets this totally different, kind of like nightclubby sound. So that's a really, really nice sound too, especially if you write and you mix between Harmon and the cup mute. That's some really nice colors. Let's see, extended techniques. These are cool. So there's lots of stuff you can do with the trumpet. Lots of stuff that people don't usually do is the pedal range. I told you that the low F sharp is the typical low note, but some people can play lower, and it could be a really cool effect, especially if you're doing something with the lower voice of the cello, or really experimenting with the trumpet with it. For example, I'll go down to an F sharp, and then I'll start doing the pedal range, which pedal notes usually mean it's like a false kind of note, but they're still usable. So those are the pedal notes. If I was playing a flugelhorn, which is basically a bigger, more mellow version of the trumpet, those notes speak much easier, and then you can get an octave below that. So it's almost like playing like a tuba trumpet, if that makes any sense. So that's one of the things. Let's see, flutter tongue, that's probably the most used extended technique. And this is something, I think this is really cool if you're writing run passages, adding the flutter to it sounds really cool. For example, I'm going to play a concert E flat little Lydian passage on here. And if you don't know what Lydian means, you should look that up. You don't have to just stick to one style. The cool thing about composing, especially in your own piece, is you get to choose whatever you want to do. You're the painter. You get all the paints. So just explore the sound. The trumpet has so many colors, and one thing that is not used often is the ability to switch the timbres of the octaves. You might hear some high notes in a classical style, but if you can write stuff that has like extended range and a more commercial jazzy style, then go for it. Just to play. So, for example, I'll show you two differences. I'll play like a little ditty that's more conservative classical style. Now I'll take the same kind of example, and then I'll say on the marking it says more at liberty a la jazz or commercial, and then you can really start hearing that. So there's different ways to showcase the trumpet. For trumpet players, we don't have the ability as a string player to jump octaves as easy. We usually try to play stuff in a octave to octave range. So if you're trying to do leaps, say you're wanting to do a big jump, but you want that in a faster tempo, that's going to be really up to the trumpet player, musician, if they have a really developed ear, because those kind of intervals are difficult at first. So it's just more unfamiliar passage. So just be aware of how you're writing. When you're writing stuff and you're getting into the tempo changes, say you're writing on 100, usually for trumpet players, especially if they're, depending on how advanced or not they are, articulation speeds. So anywhere between 100 to 136, it's this disconnect between too slow or too fast for single or for double tonguing. So you have to be very aware of that kind of stuff. For example, if we're doing, the 120 speed, I always think of, Stars and Stripes. So that is, we'll see, because I might be right now with my tongue doing a double tongue. So I'll just do everything on a C to show you. But if I want to do with a double tonguing too, just to let you know if you're not aware of it, is when you're taking it and you're doing the syllables tuku, tuku, so it's making it easier to articulate. So you have to be aware and choose your tempos wisely for when you're writing for trumpet on these faster passages, because that might be a little difficult. And other thing is too is make sure we have enough time to rest. The thing about piano players and the cello players, they can breathe when they want to. For us, we're wind players. This is you're putting a piece of metal on your lips, and basically when you play the trumpet, all the blood goes away to play this. So then you have to take it off with rest so the circulation comes back. If it doesn't, we get what's called chopped out, and our sound gets thinner, and then we end up using what we call the octave key to mash in our face, which we don't want to. Trumpet is this really nice sound, which is all supported by the air. So being aware of that, understanding, okay, if I'm going to have my trumpet part in the upper register for 3 or 4 bars, I should probably give them a rest, or write into lower notes. The reason why we play in the lower passages from the top is kind of like a massage on our face. That's why we do that stuff. So just have to be aware of your placements. You're not writing, results in your writing always in the upper notes. So you want to be able to pace it. That's the biggest thing. Understand the phrases from point A to point B and how that really lies on the horn for us. And that'll make our job much easier. Yeah. So besides that, just a little bit about my background. I am currently a PhD student at the U here in music education. Before that, I spent the past 14 years on the road performing with different Broadway shows. I grew up in a little town in North Carolina. And I started my first college degree as just primarily a classical player, but I wanted to learn to play jazz. We didn't have a jazz program at the time or a jazz degree, so I did what anybody else did. I just taught myself. I just got cassette tapes, and I would listen and I would just use my ear. So that's something I recommend for you when you're writing your melodies. Just really, if it's something in your head, just use it and just write it down and jot it out and try it. That's the good thing about this program is that we're able to try your ideas first, and if they don't work, then we'll offer suggestions and see what else works. But try it. Just because maybe this not work, you still have to find your voice, and that's the good thing about this. You have all the time to find your voice, and hopefully we can help you, put that and translate it to the horn to make some real music. Thank you.